what is my responsibility to those that I love and care about. I say this because they are the people that your actions are going to impact going forward. I do believe that none of us want to mourn parents, brothers, sisters, friends, and colleagues who would have survived were it not for our actions. Nor do I believe you would want them to mourn you. The power, therefore, is in our hands, yours and mine. We, individually and collectively, are the ones who have the power to save. I continue to say, wear your mask, wash your hands, keep your distance. And you do these things because you are a responsible and caring person, not because the government has told you to do so. You do so because you believe it is the right thing for you to do. We all have to step up to being responsible. And this, especially in the case of leaders, especially elected ones. And so therefore, all the measures that I will be announcing today shall be applied to all citizens, regardless of their social or political standing. When we de-escalated 21 days ago, I said that I would not hesitate to re-escalate again if reckless behavior is widespread. Accordingly, in response to today's resolutions from my consultations with county governors and on the advice of the National Security Council and the National Emergency Response Committee on the coronavirus pandemic, I do further order and direct as follows: that our nationwide curfew shall remain in force for a further 30 days. That there shall be no sale of alcoholic beverages or drinks in eateries and restaurants across the territory of the Republic of Kenya, effective midnight today for 30 days. That the closing time for restaurants and eateries has been amended from 8 p.m. to 7 p.m. starting today at midnight for the next 30 days. That all bars shall remain closed until further notice. That the Inspector General of the National Police Service shall cause withdrawal of all licenses for bars operating in breach of this directive, and those withdrawals shall be permanent. That the Inspector General shall file a weekly return of all bars whose licenses have been withdrawn to the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination of National Government. That forthwith the Inspector General of Police shall ensure that his officers spare no Mheshimiwa, no individual, irregardless of social status or rank, who is either out after curfew without being an essential worker, or who flaunts the health protocols that have been set out. The rules are for all of us, and rank or status does not exempt anyone from them. That the National Government Administration officers and the National Police Service will strictly enforce Ministry of Health protocols on public gatherings and particularly funerals. That strict personal sanction will ensue to all police and national administration officers in whose areas of jurisdiction there is a breach of the said guidelines. That the Ministry of Health will develop a protocol to temporarily retain retired ICU staff and anesthetists to support the medical staff assigned to dealing with serious COVID-19 cases in the counties. That any government institution, including all sporting facilities, stadia, educational institutions, and other government facilities, upon designation by the Cabinet Secretary for as a public health facility, shall be availed to the Ministry of Health for isolation and quarantine purposes. If and when necessary, these measures will be made even more stringent. We will do this without hesitation because we hold precious the life of every Kenyan. We also understand that our economic health as a country is ultimately tied to keeping our infections and fatalities as low as possible. So for those who argue the economic argument, I tell you that there will be little tourism, scarce investment, and falling trade if our headlines start to match those of countries that have been hardest hit by the pandemic. So if we want to preserve our economic health, we must begin by preserving our physical health, and that is a responsibility for all of us. I want at this juncture to thank, through my co-chair, the chairman of the Council of Governors, all the governors of the Republic of Kenya,